Hello, everyone, and welcome to twitch.tv/the Onyx Path, where we are finally done fighting gremlins, and hopefully you all can hear me and everything is right with the universe. Sorry for the late start. We had a scheduling kerfuffle, but all is well, and we are now ready to delve into a glorious and wonderful adventure in the world of Trinity Continuum Aegis. I would like to remind you that we are currently raising funds for this game on BackerKit. There's about 4 days left. Last time I looked, we were it looked like we were just under 1,000 short of unlocking the next stretch goal, maybe. So if you've not yet done so, now is the time to head over and back it. And I have Corey and I backwards, so I will get that fixed momentarily. While I am doing that, though, let's have our other players introduce themselves. We'll start with Scott, since you're in the right place. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Sure thing. My name is Scott Cuban. Today I am playing an Olympian by the name of Thirio. Both he and I's pronouns are he, him. You can find me at Simulacra RPGs on X, because that's the world we live in now.
Not even if you paid me.
Not even. Also, Simulacra TV on Twitch and YouTube. That's my actual play studio, where I do a lot of Trinity Continuum. And also, you can find Opcast, Arms Around Trinity Continuum. It's a podcast that does review and retrospective of all sorts of Trinity stuff.
Excellent, rock and roll. And let me go ahead and throw a shout out to your channel in the Twitch chat. While I do that, Simon, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, anything you'd like to promote.
Hi, I'm Simon. I am playing Thrasos, son of Ares, an Olympian who believes he's descended from the Greek god of war, and not his smarter, more tactical sister. So, expect what you should expect. Both of us are he, him, and to promote, I'm going to mention I have a review blog over at www.thetabletopalmanac.wordpress.com. You can find me on X at Tabletop Almanac, and on the Onyx Path Twitch channel, second Wednesday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern, doing a Mage of the Ascension 20th anniversary introductory series. And I'll also pump Extra Life, but I'll put a link in the chat for that at some point, just to do it. It's for charity, it's for kids, it's for hospitals, and we're gaming at all sorts of extraordinary hours to earn your money and donations.
And that's over at our buddies at Dork Tales, is that correct?
That is with yes. This year I'm doing it with Dork Tales. Well, my second year of my 2 for 2 with Dork Tales. They're a great game, and there'll be games all weekend long on that channel. So do check it out. They're very entertaining.
Beautiful. Then Corey, if you could please give us all of your pertinence.
Yeah, hey, I'm Corey, aka Narf on the interwebs, and today I will be playing Anders, the Oracle, and he or they, and personally I am they, them. And as far as promotions go, I work on a video game called The Caves of Cud, QUD. I think Travis will drop a link in chat for me.
I will.
And normally I'd be hanging out in chat, but my computer blew up this week, so we're on an alternate laptop, which I probably couldn't handle it.
Not a great thing to happen to somebody who codes for a living. So my empathy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I would cry real tears. I'd still be crying if I were you. So I appreciate your emotional fortitude and your being here. Thank you so much for making it work. I greatly appreciate you being here. And I guess that leaves me. I'm Travis. My pronouns are he and they. When I'm not running games, I am writing them. And I had the honor and pleasure of doing some writing on Aegis, so I'm very grateful to be able to bring it to you in this actual play that we are going to dive right into. So each of you, I would like you to get your hot little hands on some D10s, particularly the lower of your athletics plus cunning or empathy plus dexterity, because we are rolling initiative.
Athletics plus cunning, empathy plus dexterity.
Yep, whichever one's lower.
Both of mine are 6.
Oh man. I have no empathy.
Yeah, my math rocks.
Surprise, surprise. Okay, you just want it.
Yep. If you all right, and remember, because it's Aegis, you are looking for 8s or better on the dice. Just let me know how many successes you got. Let's start with opposite order. Corey, how many successes you get?
I got 1, 10, and a 2, so I think that's 1.
That is one success, but the 10 you get to reroll.
Oh, all right. For an 8.
Excellent. So that's 2 successes.
2.
Beautiful. Simon, what you got?
Who needs to go first or ever? I got a big fat 0.
That's okay. And Scott.
I walk the middle path with 1 success.
Excellent. So the way this will work is as the players, you will have basically these are your tick rating in the combat. The characters in order are going to be Corey, what's your character's name again?
Anders.
Anders. Excellent. Next up will be Scott. Your character's name one more time.
Thirio.
And offhand, how do I spell it?
Thirio.
There we go. Excellent. Beautiful. And Simon, your character's name.
Rassos. THRASOS.
Excellent. You are all in a great deal of luck because your opponent didn't get any successes whatsoever on that roll. And the player characters get to go first. Life is grand. So you are currently right on the southern shores of the, just outside the city of Tartessos. This is about as far to the west as you can get and still be in the Mediterranean. You have been traveling together for some time and have taken a bit of a job from the sort of city governing council to help them with a little bit of a creature problem that they've got on the outlying farms just outside the city. Tartessos is a particularly advanced culture. They have they have some very advanced architecture for the time. High quality goods are produced. They are able to mine for resources very effectively. So they're a fairly advanced place, and they're willing to pay handsomely to have this difficulty addressed for them. The difficulty, they just told you it was a monster. They didn't exactly describe it to you, and you may have thought better of it had they. As Anders, you are locked up or right next to a large armor-scaled lion with wings. What would you like to do?
Trade places with one of the heroes.
I'll allow it. Who would you like to swap your initiative over to?
Let's go with Thrasos since they were lower in the initiative order.
Excellent. So Thrasos, you also are right near this beast. The three of you have gone out in the direction that you were given by the city council and been sort of hunting it. And you were following what you thought were its tracks, and now realize as it is pouncing on you from above from a tree, that it was baiting you where it wanted you to be. What would you like to do in response to this giant creature leaping at you?
Ooh, is it fair to say that I had my spear and shield out?
I would assume that any weapons that you have, you would have. I would assume that any of you who are able to assume a form of your choosing are in that form, or able to immediately do so. As soon as you notice you're in peril.
Okay.
So yeah,
I will. I'll activate my gift, Maze of Iron and Bronze. It's
beautiful.
leaping at me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of leaping at all of you, but you're conveniently in the center.
I have a. I guess my spear has reach, right?
Your spear does have reach.
Okay. I actually realized I didn't write down the stats for that, but we'll deal with that when we need to. Unless it be in TC Continuum, in which case I could just pull it up right now.
You're looking for reach? What exactly
So
reach?
spears, like whatever the breakdown for a spear would be.
Sure. Just half a second.
Here we are.
I would assume it would have reach. I would assume it would probably be heavy.
Yeah.
Lacking looking anything up. But having said that, you can tweak that out if you want to.
Sure, I'll poke it around when it's not my turn. Okay. So, +1 enhancement, as well as a +2 enhancement from an increase in scale, was inflicting injury. Slow and cumbersome. I don't know. We'll see. Let's not necessarily say it's heavy right away.
Sure, fair enough.
Let me figure out what's going on with it. Okay, so do I have to spend an inspiration on this, or only if it says I do?
Only if it. So there's no like automatic inspiration cost for gifts. So only if it.
I am taking my action to fight defensively, and my close combat skill is a complication on all attacks against me until the next turn. And if he misses or doesn't buy off the complication, he gets an injury. If armed with a reach weapon, this also applies to enemies attempting to move into close range.
Okay.
And my melee or close combat is 5 with a specialty in spears.
Glorious. That specialty in spears isn't going to help you so much in this actual scenario, as specialties are complementary to other skills as opposed to applying directly to the skill you possess. But that will add a complication of 5 to their attack. So good times had by all. That brings us over to Therio.
So Therio, who is just a mountain of a man, as soon as he realized that the jump has been gotten upon them, with joy in his heart, he will like rush over to the Thrasus.
Yep.
Yeah, he will rush over to you while you're tangling with it, and just like run at it and like tackle it.
Excellent. So you're just gonna go for just like a grappling maneuver, effectively.
Yeah, I'm going for the grapple.
Glorious. Everybody's favorite thing to do in RPGs. Let's.
I've got the rules up right for me because I know what I am.
Glorious. So you're going to be basically, I'm assuming, making a close combat roll. Is that fair to say?
That is exactly true.
Excellent. You may do so. Your difficulty for this roll is going to be a 4.
A 4. Okay. Man, I really need to find a way of getting some enhancement on this. So I've got 2 successes.
Excellent. You lunge forward at the beast in the hopes of intercepting it before it can actually make contact with your ally Thrasos. Unfortunately, it's just too quick for you. You sort of misgauge, and while you're able to sort of get a grip on it from behind, you're unable to establish the grapple. So you're basically right up close to it, hands on it, in fact, but just not able to do any sort of actual grappling.
Gotcha.
So having said that, it is going to take a swipe at our good buddy Thrasos. Now, please, Thrasos, as we have established that the fecal matter and the rotary escalator are interacting with one another, tell us what your character looks like. What does this great dragon see as it lunges and lurches down toward you?
So he's a bigger sort, taller than your average bear,
Nice.
and average person. Particularly, well, he's got what? He's got a high might. He's very high might, so he's particularly, well built, and sort of radiates a sense of interest. In the sense that he has a sort of natural presence that that one notices off the bat. But there's this sort of vibe about him where that could be equally terrifying as impressive. Otherwise, typical inhabitant of the Peloponnesus. He's Greek.
Excellent. And how would you describe the look on his face as this giant claw comes swinging at
Gleeful.
it? Wonderful. So
Worm.
your base defense is a 1. Are you? Do you have any soft armor that I should be aware of?
Yes, I'm actually just checking on that now. Oh, and I also have other stuff. Okay, I think Linothorax is a sort of typical armor, although maybe he would have a panoply. I'm sorry, I should have checked this thing beforehand.
No worries.
So let's say he's got soft 2 from that. Did I have a feeling. Here we go. No. Oh, that was something else. Yeah, okay. So yeah, his panoply has soft 2, hard 1, and is formidable. I don't know if that is going to play a role right here, but this is that like full-bodied bronze armor.
Excellent. Okay. Glorious and beautiful. The creature does not overcome the complication based on your maze of iron and bronze, but it sure does take a swipe out of you. So, having said all of that, you suffer 1 injury condition, as does the creature.
Bring it on.
That brings us back to the top of the initiative order. We're going to resume our normal numbers. So Anders, or no, that doesn't, because Anders has reserved an action. So Anders, what would you like to do now that you have the focus?
Don't quite see how anything I'm doing is going to be super useful right here. But I'm looking out for that situation in which I could use, like, I could tell him, like, strike there, like at
Sure.
the right moment for in order to use Overwatch, which just to let the party know, if we spend a momentum, we can lower the difficulty of one of your rolls by 1.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So you're going to take the turn to use Overwatch, provided the group is okay with that momentum expenditure?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Excellent. So that'll bring you down to having
Like,
2
we can decide
momentum.
which of your rolls we want to use it on as a group. That's fine with me.
Okay. And that's just once with Overwatch, or that's for the duration of the remainder of the scene?
Sorry, read it.
You're
Skill
all
trick.
good.
I think-
Character.
It's single. Yeah.
Yes, for a single roll for an ally at that location
Glorious. No
that I
worries.
can see.
All right.
I think it
So,
would be momentum 3 because I failed to roll.
oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me honest on that. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, just to clarify, as we go back to the actual top of the order, which again gives Anders another action, the Fortress Panoply is soft 2, hard 3. So you don't actually take that injury condition that comes off your armor.
Oh, okay. Sorry about
No worries.
that. I also realized I have edges that might actually come to play. But
I'm looking for cover that also
Excellent. So you
trying
can.
to get out of the way and
So
still be able to see, but not be in direct line.
sure. What you can do then is make a defensive roll.
Sure. What is that?
If you're going full defense, you'll take whichever one of your resilience attributes you'd like to rely on and double it. Generally speaking, it's stamina, but in this case, I could see. I'm willing to be persuaded for something else because you're kind of diving for cover as opposed to.
Just trying to stand there and
Right.
absorb it. Yeah. So I don't know, the resolve to find a good hiding spot.
Sure. You are determined to get the hell out of the
Yeah.
way. I love it.
It's not really that big of a difference. I could take the stamina one too. It's not like huge.
Excellent. Go ahead and give that a roll at twice the value.
8s and better reroll 10s.
8s and better are your target, and 10s are a reroll. Correct.
Just confirming. 3. Sounds
Excellent.
pretty defensive.
So you can just straight up add that to your defense, or you can. So effectively, you can use the dodge stunt to drop all of those successes in, or if you want to improve your defense only by 2 and spend 1 success, you can also. I'll let you go ahead and move a range band away to dive to cover. Normally it's for ranged attacks, but I think in this case it's appropriate.
Yeah, because I don't know if this thing's gonna have a breath attack or something
And
like
it's
that.
it's technically still in the air too. Like
Yeah.
it hasn't landed yet. So
Yeah, so I'm looking for some serious cover.
excellent. So you're going to move 1 range band away to reach cover established in the field. So you drop down behind a rock. You're still able to see everything that's going on, but now
Yep.
you have some cover between you, and you also have your defense is now a 3 for the remainder of the turn. So excellent. That then brings us back round to. Well, you can hand it off to whoever you like. Who would you like to go next, Anders?
Let's go with the bear.
Yeah. So speaking of the bear, he is enraged that he missed it. So Therio is going to tear at his own flesh and grow to size 2 as he changes into a straight up bear. And if the group allows it, I'd like to spend momentum for my sucker punch skill check.
Beautiful.
Sure, absolutely.
So his defense, the dragon's defense is going to be -5.
Excellent.
So yeah, and since I have my bear form, I decided to go with the tags are brutal and quality 2. So I do have an enhancement on this particular roll.
Good call. And what gift is that by virtue of?
Oh, that gift is taking the beast shape, but putting on the beast shape, which gives me the form of a mammal of great size. So yeah, I literally grow up and like paw at it with my claw, bringing it down. And I rolled 4 successes on that.
Beautiful. So obviously its defense is 0 and you have 2 enhancement. Is that
One
correct?
enhancement.
One enhancement. Excellent. All right, because it's 2 points of quality, not quality twice. Gotcha. So that will bring you a total of 5 successes. Am I right on that?
Yeah. 5
So
successes. So I've established that grapple.
okay,
Which since its defense was 0, then basically I can spend it on stunts if I so desire.
correct.
I think I will go with well, what's its does it have any armor that I have to overcome?
Not specifically, no. Once you overcome its defense, you are able to damage it normally.
Okay, well then with its with that, then I think I'll hit it and crit it since I have the brutal tag. I think that should be enough.
Glorious.
So I'm just squeezing it with my claw.
Wonderful.
And then I'll "Arr!" over to Thrasos,
And
which is of course bear for get it.
and as you do assume this bear shape, please describe the bear. What does your bear form look like?
So the bear form is it's not like it is not your like typical big fuzzy bear. This is a lean monster kind of bear. Not very thick fur. It's not like not a lot of blubber on it. It's a lot of muscle. So it's kind of like a bear is normally scary, but like a lean bear, in my opinion, is a little bit more scary. So it's like all muscle and thin fur, and just like an intensity in the eyes that animals don't normally achieve.
Glorious. And this giant ursine form growls and nods in Thrasos' direction. Thrasos, what would you like to do?
Hold the beast, Arctos. And he'll bring his spear up and lunge it forward. And I want to use a mighty cleave.
Excellent.
This attack.
And what does that specifically do?
Mighty cleave. So I can release a small quantity of ambrosia so that it coats the weapon, rendering it sturdier, more durable, able to easily pierce the hardest armor. So it subtracts my destructive facet from any soft armor the target possesses.
Excellent.
Destructive facet is 2.
Glorious. And just so that I'm clear on the math, if you had 5 successes and you hit and crit, that's 1 success that went into the actual like potency of the grapple. Is that correct? For Therio.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So effectively, it's going to have a defense of 1 against this attack.
Cool. Hold on. I'm just going to pull up my forceful martial arts as well.
Yeah, pull out all stops. You are fighting what is referred to locally as a great dragon.
Okay, so it's gonna be my might and my close combat. So that's 10 dice.
It seems like the kind of roll we should probably lower the difficulty on.
If everybody's cool with that being the one.
Yeah.
No objections? Excellent. So
Yeah, sounds good.
So then your difficulty is effectively 0. So every success you get is going to go straight at.
So I'm going to use Deadly Strike to add brutal the brutal tag to my weapon. Though I have to overcome a +1 complication or lose it for the next turn. But at a difficulty 0, I'm not so.
Right. So you're getting a bonus at basically negating the benefit from Overwatch to get that bonus. So I'll allow it, as Judge Mills Lane would say.
Okay, so let's roll these dice. If I need a new pair of everything. 10, well, 2 10s and an 8. So reroll those 10s. 2 7s.
Okay.
Okay.
No worries.
So 3, so one of those goes into Deadly Strike to get brutal. Then I have an enhancement of 1 from the spear. of my, oops, hold on, my mighty cleave. Oh yeah, right. Ignores the armor. Okay. All right. So I guess 2 successes.
+1 enhancement, so 3.
So 3. Yeah.
So not quite enough to purchase the critical even with the brutal, but you do get to hang on to the brutal until next for the next round.
Yeah.
That does, however, give you 2 extra successes. So some things that you might be able to do with those, for example, if you wanted to complicate its next action because it has a giant spear sticking out of its side, you can put those 2 successes as a complication to its next action.
Yeah. Let's. Oh, instead of damage.
No, in addition to the 1 damage that you would deal.
Oh, the one damage. Yeah. Sure. Let's do that.
Excellent.
Give it the additional complication.
As your spear finds its way into the flesh of this beast through a couple of its scales, you notice in a very disconcerting way that the claw marks across its side, where your friend Therio sort of slid across it before actually fully locking on, you see those starting to knit back together as a slight golden glow of ambrosia emanates from the wound. And that brings it to
It heals itself.
its action. It is using its regeneration.
So if that's a passive thing, that's fine. But because it is grappled, the only actions it can take, it cannot move, and the only physical action it can take is to try and get out of the grapple.
Sure. No, it's just a spend source to automatically recover.
Okay.
Yep. It's an anomaly power. So it can, however, make a mixed action, correct? Trying to break free from the grapple. Because that's part of a. Or it needs
the only physical action you can take is to attempt to free yourself.
Beautiful. Okay. In that case, it's going to give that a shot. So the strength of your grapple is a 1. Because
it's an opposed roll off.
It's a roll off. Beautiful. Okay. And the strength of your grapple, does that impose a complication or difficulty on it? Or that's just on fighting people that aren't you, right?
Yeah. I mean, they can't. Basically, we have to roll off, and then the winner gets to apply the excess damage in stunts.
Beautiful. Okay, that's effectively what he's not trying to attack somebody else anyway. So, Gotcha. Excellent. And just FYI, he is going to be relying on his primary pool based on his rampaging fury. Since he is those 2 things. So you would make a close combat, and what would you like to pair that with?
Let's go with close combat and might.
Beautiful. And he's got 5 successes.
But I've got 9.
Excellent.
So yeah, then I will once again hit. I will just continue to crush as it tries to like thrash around. I'll spend 1 for inflict damage, and then that's a free for brutal.
Excellent. So that will deal an additional 2 health to him.
Mm-hmm.
Glorious. As you let out a ursine roar and begin just digging into this creature. Now, we cut back to our good friend Anders, correct? You haven't acted yet this turn? So please, describe for the audience what Anders looks like cowering behind this giant
rock. He's probably sitting back there just like praying a little bit, but also vividly watching because he hasn't really seen these 2 fight yet. So this is probably like he's learning a new group. So he's probably extremely curious and just studying the fight.
Glorious.
Also, this is some weird ambrosia shit, which he's really interested in learning more about.
That's totally fair. And what is Anders dressed like at the moment? Or I mean, yeah. What are you wearing? Do you think?
Probably weather appropriate gear, considering he knows the weather.
Sure. It's warm, so probably just sort
Probably
of
a vest and yeah.
so something fairly simple like a tunic.
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. That brings us back around to Thrasos goes next. All right. Yeah. What would you like to do?
Oh, I will stab it again.
Glorious.
Place the spear and just.
So, do you have any? Do you have the ability to reduce its? Is your ability to reduce its armor, is that persistent, or is that something you have to spend for every time you activate it?
Mighty Cleave. It's momentary, but doesn't seem to have a cost to it. So.
And that's under gifts, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
But don't search for cleaves. There's a typo.
Ah, beautiful. All right. So that's anytime rock and roll. All right. So you may do so.
I will mightily cleave it. And continue to apply the brutal tag through my my martial arts.
Excellent.
Okay, hold on.
It's
I'm rolling so many dice, it might as well be exalted.
nothing like a big dice pool.
Yeah. Okay. This
So
is
yeah, your destructive acid is a 3. Is that correct?
2. Just
2. Okay. So your target number for this is going to be 1. Or your difficulty, I'm sorry, is going to be 1. Target number is 8.
Okay. So 2 successes.
Okay.
1 to buy off the compilation from brutal. So I have 1 success.
Excellent. So that's just going to be enough to scratch it, basically. Dealing it 1 level of damage. Now that brings us around to Therio. What you got?
I mean, I'm gonna keep on crushing this guy. So that's gonna be some fun times in the city.
And there's nothing going on currently that reduces his defense with regards to you, correct?
No, nothing that reduces his defense. So with the enhancement that I have, that's going to be 4 successes total.
Excellent. That's just enough to crack the defense and deal 1
Yeah,
injury condition.
just like it is this back and forth of these 2 beasts rolling at it.
Yeah.
He's gonna scream, like growl out in bear, "Arr!" which is like, Anders, get in on this.
And what breed of bear are you? Like effectively like grizzly sized, roughly.
Yeah, roughly grizzly size. Like,
so you're probably just a little bit smaller than this creature. So it really is quite a sight.
yeah.
In fact, go ahead.
I'm size scale 2.
Oh, okay. So actually, you're a little bit bigger than they are.
Yeah.
So that will also, but it doesn't give you any might skill.
Yeah,
or
no,
power skill.
no, not yet.
Glorious.
Funny you should mention that. But no, not right now.
It's in the mail, but not quite yet. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, Anders, as you see, as you kind of look over, you can see a couple of the farmers like out in the field, probably, 500 feet or so away from you. Just kind of like cockeyed staring at like what's this bizarre battle going on. Jaws on the floor. What would you like to do?
So I have neither close combat nor aim, which seem like the 2 ways that you would traditionally go about dealing damage to a beast such as this.
Usually.
So I'm gonna reply with something like, "Do you expect me to drive my cart into it?" And but then also I'm wondering if command can like somehow give an ally an additional enhancement or something like that.
So, like in the sense of you're wanting to shoot out some, like fire off some directions, something
Yeah,
along those
like
lines.
inspiring, like it looks like it would be weak there,
Um,
again to my
Use the
friend.
enhanced stunt.
yeah, you can always lean on the enhanced stunt. Um, so I would say, um, it's up to you what attribute you'd like to lean on with command. My recommendation would probably be cunning, but I'm willing to hear other suggestions if you have something else in mind.
Seems good to me.
Okay. Give me a command plus cunning roll, please.
Two successes on the
Excellent. So
dice.
that will add a 2 enhancement to the next person's action. And that's technically going to be to our good friend Therio, as you are going to have to contend with it trying to break your grapple again.
All right, that's fine. Oh, thanks for liking me today.
Have you considered poking it in the eye?
Well, the dice are not too fond of this dragon. It got 1 success.
I got 8. 10 with enhancement.
Excellent. So as it rests against you, and you can see the wounds still stitching themselves together. What would you like to do? How does this play out as your claws dig deeper into its scaly hide?
Yeah, there's just like the bear claws, like he's got the four claws into it. He just like starts grappling it to the ground, like pulling its claws. He gets one of his claws in its wing, and it just he gets one of his legs into the action, and he just sort of like wrenches it as its back breaks.
So like a MMA grapple sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, this bear seems to be formally trained in pancreas.
Right. You do your best Race Gracie impression, and
Yeah, exactly.
give it the most epic back cracking in history.
Mhm.
As the scaly hide along its belly bursts, leaking its entrails in a bloody pile beneath the two of you, and the body falls limp, and you land on all fours over top of it. That
And then
brings us to the end of our first combat.
I'm gonna like the owlbear in the D&D movie. I'm gonna confirm the kill a couple of times.
Excellent.
And then I'm going to like stand up on all fours, give a mighty roar, and return back to human form, completely naked at this point, and just say, "They said it was a great dragon. I say it's just an okay dragon."
Anders tosses you another sheet to use as a,
Yeah.
a quick toga or something.
He takes his time, you know.
Yeah.
It
Well
is.
done, Arctos. This brings me back to when we defeated the Hydra. A similar
Ah,
tactic you used.
that squirrely bastard. Yes, you know, he's a pretty good tactic. Hold it till it dies.
Yes, and tear it to pieces and throw its heads about the Aegean.
But that was a problem. You know, that was problem because each one you tear off. Oh,
Well, remember when we defeated the 12 Hydras?
that was a crazy night, and I'm pretty sure that we just ate a bunch of mushrooms and dreamed that.
You have your memories, I have mine. And the poets will tell what they tell.
Two things that you are aware of about the area that you're in, or about the scenario that you're in at the moment. Tartessos, typically speaking, during the summer months, people wear little to no clothing at all, so it's perfectly normal if you walk into town naked or near naked. And secondly, you were asked by the council to bring the beast's head at the very least, if not its full hide, to the feast hall in the middle of the city.
Well, it's a little messed up, but I don't see why we
And-
can't drag it back to town.
Anders will fold out like a little cart
Excellent. Like a
from a backpack. Like he'll just like take out a couple of sticks and
like
stick them
a
together.
like a little like red rider wagon type
Yep.
cart.
Yep, exactly.
Excellent. It's normally not. It's certainly not big enough to for this thing to be within it, but it is sturdy enough that you can drag it. So I'm just imagining, probably I would assume Therio dragging this like giant body that's just almost consumed the surface of the cart as its fat sort of leans, like rolls over the sides, and just dragging it slowly back into town.
Yeah, sounds good.
Excellent. Is there anything that you would like to discuss or do on the way, or are you just going to make haste to get back to the feast hall?
Rasmus will regale Anders with a few more stories of he and Therio's feats of impressive feats in the area.
Excellent. I assume embellished to an obvious degree.
No, that's how it happened.
Excellent.
Just listen to the stories. It's all true.
You make your way into the city, and as you do, traffic kind of stops. People walking along or riding beasts of burden along sort of stop and pause and look at you, and there's a lot of gasps and whispers of admiration. You arrive at the feast hall. The council is sort of assembled at a large, long table at the head of the room, with various other just folk from town set at the various long tables that are arranged perpendicular throughout the large feast hall. There's like 3 long tables aiming the other direction. As you enter in through the double doors, are you dragging the carcass all the way in with you? Please describe your entrance for me. How are you all rolling into this feast hall?
Well,
I think
Thurio will like just pick it up, put it over his broad shoulders, and just march in, with making sure that Thrasus and Anders are at his side, and just like march right up to them and like punk. And
okay.
he'll say his line again. You said it was great, Dragon. I say it was only okay, Dragon.
Excellent. And are you dumping the corpse on the floor or on the table?
It's on the floor.
Glorious. Why don't you go ahead and give me a let's do, I'm thinking maybe something along the lines of command or perhaps empathy. Perhaps even if you want to lean on athletics, effectively something. This is going to ultimately be a role to sort of establish the mood, establish how much you can rouse the crowd with this action. And I'm going to give you a 2 enhancement based on the action that you've described. So what skill would you like to lean on, and what attribute do you feel is most appropriate?
Let's go with athletics, plus let's go with presence.
Excellent. Give me an athletics presence roll, please. 2 enhancement.
Well, unfortunately, that is a botch.
Excellent. On the bright side, you gain 2 momentum, so that'll bring you up to a total of 5.
I actually think that's 4 because we spent 1 and I don't think it went down.
No, it did, but also if a roll got failed, so it went back up.
Oh, all right.
So as you rather impressively do throw it down, it kind of bursts like splattering the entire
Into the
council
mayor's food.
with the head of the council picks a bloody scale off their cheek and drops it on the table next to them and says, "Quite impressive. You may dine freely. We will celebrate your victory and afterward discuss your compensation. Everyone, please, for our heroes, you see, the people out in the sort of common tables all raise their glasses and all seem relatively impressed still. The city council, like, one of them picks like another bloody piece of meat like out of their glass. And they sort of half-assedly raise their glasses. You have failed to establish a positive atmosphere here. But
You don't say.
but they, haven't thrown you out or anything. No major faux pas was committed. More so than the grand embarrassment of having showered them in gore. What would you like to do as the feasting begins?
Did the councilman that had the chunk of meat fall into their cup drink the toast?
Yeah, he pulled the meat out and tossed it onto the floor, and then
But he still drank it.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to let good wine go to waste.
No. That'd be on his case otherwise. Okay.
Glorious.
Yeah, Theriot will go for that local hooch.
Wonderful. So you're Therio and Thrasos grabbing food and drink. Anders, anything in particular that you're doing?
Probably feeling very embarrassed on the inside. He's just kind of trying to hide behind the two that are like much bigger than him. But also enjoying in the food and the drink and trying to learn a little bit about, local culture,
Sure.
etc.
As you're sort of carousing a little bit more, I assume Thrasos and Therio just kind of find a place to plant down and start chowing as opposed to wandering about. Anders, you spot someone sitting at the end of one of the long tables nearest the door. Furthest away from where you're all at right now, but definitely eyeballing you. And you immediately notice that they're dressed very heavily for the local custom, and wearing wool, like a wool shirt, bracers that have wool underneath them, very much in the fashion of a Scandian native.
Are they looking? They just look out of place.
Extremely so. Yeah, and they look like they're definitely kind of eyeballing your companions. Almost. Go ahead and give me an empathy check, and then if you want to lean on, I would say maybe cunning or intellect, but I would also accept any other, an argument for a different attribute.
Cunning makes sense.
Sure.
One success.
Okay. You get a read that they not only do they seem interested in your allies, but they seem like they're trying to maybe like work up the courage to go over and speak to them.
I'll try introducing myself with, some Scandian language. Ask if they hail from, the homeland, whatever the.
Sure. Oh, you're a fellow Northerner. Oh, wonderful! I didn't expect to see someone this far out. Yes, I do. My name is Axel. He stands and reaches out and forcefully grabs your forearm, and gives you a nice hearty shake. So what brings you all the way here?
I could say the wind and the waters, but the quest, the search for knowledge.
That's
Been following around these heroes for the last couple while, acting as their guide,
you're
making sure they don't get lost.
you're acquainted with
I
the
think they would probably do.
you're acquainted with the Dragon Slayers.
Aye.
Oh, glorious news. Um, I'm in need of heroes to assist me in a quest.
I judge their mood from like across the room. Are they too drunk to talk business? Or
It hasn't been long enough for
all
either
right.
of them to get
Then I
drunk.
invite them to just like come back over and join me and be like,
You invite Axel to come with you.
yeah.
He does so.
I think I heard the word quest.
You notice he has what looks like almost like a canteen, like almost a handheld canteen that he's sort of nervously fidgeting with, and he ties it to his belt as he walks over. But definitely, you get the impression by the way he's handling it, even almost subconsciously securing it as he's walking along, that this is something very important to him. And he accompanies you over to your friends.
I'm torn between rude or thinking it's poison. So I'm probably paying attention to like any chicanery or sleight of hand attempts with that particular water skin.
Sure, absolutely.
canteen.
Yeah, you got larceny.
Uh, no, I don't.
Okay.
I do not have larceny. I'm not necessarily ready for the tricks, but I'm watching for them.
Sure, fair enough. I'll give you an empathy if you want to lean on that.
Sure.
Um,
Cunning again.
yeah.
2 successes.
Wonderful. So as you're looking over, you get the distinct impression that he's much more nervous and almost like he's afraid something's going to happen to this bauble that he's carrying. Something's going to happen to this container. It's more protective than like, haha, I'm going to poison someone.
Yep.
It's much more like, nobody take this from me. And just a quick sound check. You're not hearing a bunch of background noise from me, are you? Excellent. Beautiful. There was some animal stuff going on outside. Rock and roll. So as Thrasos and Therio are sitting there eating, there's probably a couple of locals kind of sitting nearby, sort of in rapt attention, listening to whatever stories you're willing to share. You see Anders approach with a fellow Northman in tow. This guy is probably 5'6" on his tiptoes. He's got long blonde hair, rather intricately braided, but it definitely looks like you can tell he's very road weary. Looks like maybe he hasn't had as much time to do as much upkeep on his appearance as you might normally do. And as you're traveling with someone from Scandia, you're aware that they're actually pretty big on hygiene. So it's unusual to see them disheveled, even if they're going like into battle. They'll be like, "Hold on, I got to do my hair." Like I want the last thing for my enemies to see to be my face looking its best. But this
You
gentleman is
don't want
clearly
an embarrassing painting of you in the
right. Yeah.
in the history book.
Last thing you want is the Eddie to include some snarky remark about your hair. So what do you say as you roll up to the Manders?
Oh, friend here says he might have a quest for us.
I'll have a look at Thras's quest.
Didn't believe I heard the word quest from across the room.
Truly, if you're so perceptive, you'll be exactly the type of hero I need. My name is Axel. I have come far from the land of Scandia on a mighty voyage with dire straits and peril should I fail. May I join you?
I'll like slap the table, causing like a plate to vibrate off.
Excellent.
I will use like a culturally appropriate, of course you may, like,
Absolutely.
to not be, and also don't be scared of the bear slap. Just imagine him as like old grandpa, what's his name at the family reunion.
Old Grandpa Sven. Yeah.
Yeah.
He sits and you almost like visibly, like his shoulders drop. You can see the tension sort of ease off of him. He says, I've traveled here from my homeland on a quest to seek a cure for my uncle. He was wounded in battle and has fallen into a slumber from which our healers are unable to wake him.
Have you tried shaking him?
Very much so, yes. And
Your man has not been shaked until he has been shaked by Therial.
perhaps that would be of assistance, but our mightiest warrior, his son, has attempted every means of rousing him physically. Our wisest healers have attended him, and no matter what attempts we make, Wotan will not rise.
Shall I lift him above my head and shoulders?
Well,
I believe he means wake.
yes, precisely. Now, obviously, Anders, you know who Wotan is. Wotan is one of the effectively elder, one of the elders of the Scandian Storm. Highly respected warrior, known for not only his prowess in battle but his wisdom. Axel says, I came here seeking a healer, and after some time was directed to a sagely woman by the name of Melissa. She has created this for me, and he unties the canteen from his belt and sets it on the table. It says, this is a balm that she swears will rouse him from the slumber, but it is missing a key ingredient, and that is where I need the aid of heroes. I am clearly no good in a fight, but in order for the balm to have effect, I must mix in the blood of the creature who rendered Wotan unconscious.
Smart of you to come and speak with our wise people.
Yes, I was told by the wisest among my people to come this way to seek out healers in the land of Tartessos.
Especially astute for those who wear pants. Well, very good. What is the creature that lay low your Wotan?
A revenant. A corpse that has risen from the grave. They plague our lands.
Yeah, Therio was just like nodding, like pretending like he understood what that was until it was explained.
Of course. Since the sky chariot lit up the skies, our lands have been plagued with them.
Yeah. Let us find one, crack it like bottle, and get the juice inside. Yes.
Died once, it can die again.
Of course, yes. I was also warned by Melissa that for the ichor to be functional, it must be caught and mixed into the balm before it strikes the ground.
Before the ichor or the
Before the ichor strikes the ground.
You're in luck. I can hold things up very high.
Glorious.
And then someone can get underneath.
I can catch it in my shield.
Anders starts thinking of something similar to catch it in my shield maneuver, but more likely to actually catch it.
Right. Axel says, "Glorious. I hope I'm not taking you too far. It is a lengthy journey, and I have little means to compensate you. But I am certain that if you are able to rouse Wotan from his sleep, our bards will sing your praises for the ages."
The world is our battlefield.
I have never killed a revenant. I wish to attempt this.
Wonderful. Then we've only to yes.
So, like, as he's asking that question, Anders is gonna kind of like think forward and think about the weather patterns and the journey that would be needed to get to where we're going. And basically just be like, pretty sure I could get us there in just a few days.
You have a boat.
Yes.
Glorious. Then we should make haste.
They were gonna pay us, right?
Yes, they had not. You had not settled specifically on compensation, but they said that
I say, looking over at the elders who are still probably finding pieces of
right. You see, like one of them, like pull out a dragon scale and drop it.
He's good for you.
Maybe next time make sure the splash will miss the elders. Tyria.
What? They got to participate.
This is true.
Were they not thankful that they could share in the bloodshed?
Axel looks over and says, "They don't look
Not at dinner.
They don't look like a warrior people who would truly appreciate such a gift. You will find in our homeland such a gesture would be far more welcome."
Then we shall splatter you with blood as well.
That is the hope.
I like this. I wish to meet these people. They sound reasonable.
Oh, my people are nothing if not reasonable. Yes. So, whatever business you must conduct, please do so. Where are you anchored in the harbor?
Dock number 3
Excellent.
at the southern harbor.
I will make my way to my lodgings, collect the few things that I have left here, and meet you there.
Thrasos, do you want to shake them down or shall I?
Why don't we do it together?
All right.
You can be bad warrior. I will also be a bad warrior.
Wonderful. Yes.
I'll meet y'all back at the boat.
The poets will tell the great tales of this day.
Now we are afraid of our moderating influence. Let's go fuck shit up.
But
The
will they tell of your generosity and your gratefulness?
but of course, you have saved our city. You have prevented the crop from being destroyed by this foul beast. I see no reason that we can't compensate you dearly. What is it you need? Do you need arms, armor? Would you like some finery?
Arctos, I have arms and armor. And finery will just be ruined.
Well,
They not have.
what, pray tell, would you like?
You think this far ahead.
I want a song. I want a song written by your greatest poets. I wish it sung on this day for 10 years.
So shall it be.
I also want a song. Include me in this
Two
song.
songs.
Two songs. Not one song about two people, two songs.
Yes, we each played an important role, but in our own particular idiom.
Yes, I did the grab, he did the stab.
Excellent. A grab and a stab. Tell our poets we must have a song about a grab and a song about a stab. Perhaps they can be a call and response to one another. Yes, does this please you?
And to call from one end of the city to the other end of the city.
Yes, we shall celebrate in such fashion. I shall have it ready before the sun sets this day.
Good.
Perhaps we will hear it on our way out.
Again, we are in your debt.
Yes, you are.
We may come back with other ideas, but this is good for now.
Glorious. So it shall be. And he calls over and summons a messenger and says, go get me our two finest poets. And the messenger runs out of the room.
I'll go back to the table. Fill up another plate.
So you're going to wait there eating and drinking until you hear your song effectively?
Absolutely, I am.
I think it's a good idea.
Wonderful. You plant yourselves there and begin enjoying your meal as you, about probably a half hour or so passes, and the two people come in. They're, again, dressed very minimally, but they do seem to have on some jewelry and belts that appear to be woven with precious gold and jewels. It looks like they're some sort of fancy folk, and they, as soon as they come in, they begin asking the council about the tale. You can tell the council members don't seem to be terribly interested in giving them their perspective, and they sort of usher them over toward you. What sort of things would you like to tell them?
The truth.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do either of you wish to make any type of role to effectively convey, like perhaps a humanities role to speak up your legend, or a culture role?
Would that require having either humanities or culture?
Not necessarily. You can just grab an attribute and go for it.
Presence.
Yeah, I'll roll presence. I will also, like, when I'm talking about being, turning into a bear and whatnot, if there's any like disbelieving people in the crowd, I will just turn into a bear.
Wonderful. I love it.
Can I add fame to this? roll?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One enhancement per dot.
Yep.
That's a drawback. Yeah, like what I get. Okay, yeah, one enhancement among social actions. Those who are among those who are impressed, but we'll see how it goes.
Give it a shot. And what were you going to rely on, Theria?
I'll just go presence.
Excellent. Each of you may roll.
Oh, I could probably add command, could I?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that gives you a experience in verbally conveying what you want to get across. Maybe not so much the specifics of what happened as much as this is what I want it to sound like. You know.
Can I do empathy and get really weepy about it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Open up. He's just a teddy bear.
Yeah, like this giant man who's like just telling the story and he gets super emotional about it, and like midway through, like he just turns into a bear. So that is 4 successes.
Glorious.
I have 2 plus the enhancement thing.
Excellent. And what was your payment?
Just 1.
Beautiful. So yeah, you have these poets sort of just enraptured. They begin working on their call and response about your glorious battle. Each one of the poets assumes one of your voices as your sort of telling the tale in a back and forth, almost as it's coming together. It's almost like a competitive storytelling going on between the two of them, like a back and forth braggadocio. Sort of the Grecian equivalent of no one hits like Gaston,
Nice.
And whilst that's going on in the feast hall, Anders, is there anything that you're doing before heading back to the boat?
Probably fetching supplies for a couple days. Just to make sure everything's up to date. We probably already have most of that stuff just because. But
Sure.
and also planning the journey a bit, thinking about weather patterns, etc. Trying to figure out the quickest way for us to get there
Excellent.
from
And
here.
and effectively, you're going to be applying. You have a couple of gifts that are going to come into play, correct?
Correct. And sorry, I just realized that at some point I rolled over the cord for my headphones. And I feel very nervous about that.
No worries. You seem to be okay so far.
Yeah. So I have fast travel, which just also a 7-day forecast, which I figure would help with that anyway. So the 7-day forecast is intellect and enigmas.
Yep. Go ahead and give it a roll.
And you were saying specializations work when applied to other skills?
Correct. So, for example, if you have a technology specialization in sailing, it would apply to this
Or a
role.
pilot specialization in
Sure.
sailing?
Yeah.
So what is that?
That treats it as an enhancement.
Okay, so it's just 1 enhancement then. So I got 1, 2, 3 successes on the roll and 1 enhancement.
Excellent. So that's a total of 4.
So I know the weather for the next 4 days.
Beautiful.
So I'm gonna use that to plot the quickest path from here to
Excellent.
Sandy.
You know that if you go a little bit away from, you can go through a pass just to the west of where you're at right now. And as soon as you get past that, if you go just a little bit out to sea beyond the coastline, you'll be able to catch a good strong wind that'll get you going the way you need to go. And you have the fast travel, so that cuts your travel time in literal actual half, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Cool. Well, at
It
that
doesn't matter if you're running from one quarter to another or sailing a ship from Crete to Egyptus.
Yep.
In all cases, you make the journey in half the time.
That's
Oh.
sweet.
I love it.
Uh,
That'll come in handy. Well, at that point, then, why don't we go ahead and take our biological and technological break real quick? We're going to be back sometime between 5 and 10 minutes. So if you're watching this live, I would like to remind you that the reason we are getting together is for the Trinity Continuum Aegis backer kit that is currently running. If you've not yet done so, please head over and give that some support. There's just about 3.5, 4 days left on the active crowdfunding. And last time I looked, we were pretty close to unlocking a stretch goal. I'm gonna give that a quick peek. Yeah, we're less than $800 away from unlocking the next stretch goal, which, if I'm not mistaken, will expand the Aegis Atlas, giving us some more locations and items. Locations and devices, yep. So if you've not yet done so, head over and consider tossing some coins at your Witcher. We will be back between 5 and 10 minutes. If you're watching live, hang out or go back it and then come back here. If you're watching it in playback, hit fast forward till you see our pretty faces again. We'll see you momentarily. All right, everyone, welcome back to twitch.tv/the Onyx Path. We have all taken our biological and technological breaks and are returning to our tale of Trinity Continuum Aegis. Just once again, I would like to remind you that the reason for the season is the Trinity Continuum backer kit. We've got looks like about 710, give or take, dollars away from the next stretch goal to unlock, which will further expand the Aegis Atlas. It's going to be a collection of different locations, devices, cool stuff to expand your setting. And there are 4 days left on the campaign as of right now. It wraps up on the 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you get in on that ASAP. Don't wait to the last minute. It's almost the last minute as it is. So you all had met up with Axel, a fellow member of the Scandian Storm, to Anders, and agreed to accompany him on his noble quest to gather some of the ichor from a revenant and deliver it to his effectively comatose uncle Wotan. Anders had gone to make some preparations, check the weather, and just ensure that everything was good to go for the boat, while Therio and Thrasos remained at the feast hall, regaling the local poets with tales of their slaying of the great dragon, and or as Therio said, the okay, was it the just okay dragon? Is
It was
that
the okay dragon. It was an all right dragon, on a scale of 1 to 10. It was
Sure. Fair enough. And eventually it takes probably about an hour or two of sort of back and forth with the bards as they prepare the song and begin distributing amongst the people, so that on your way out of the city you can be greeted by its song sort of singing you out onto your quest. In the interim, though, Anders, you've plotted your course. You've divined the weather. Is there anything else that you would like to do? Anything you'd like to discuss with Axel when he arrives at the boat? It takes enough time to gather his possessions and clean himself up, so he is now more put together. He's got his hair cleaned and appropriate. He's perfumed himself. He's much more presentable now.
No, though, I'm interested in how we might be able to make collecting this ichor in the way that they required easier.
So you're just kind of trying to sort that out on your own, or are you asking Anders if he has idea? Like, what's your...
Well, I'm kind of trying to study the solution that Anders has found, right? Like sort of sharing in, books and stuff, though mine are mostly about vehicles and boats
Sure.
and traveling assistance. But it doesn't mean that I might not be able to somewhat understand, though, no dots in medicine. But
Sure. Do you have any dots in science or technology?
I do have 1 in science and 3 in technology.
Sure. So you can lean on that. Why don't you go ahead and give me a technology roll? My guess would be this will be intellect, because you're spending
Intellect.
it's a lot more like taking your time to think about it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what library did, but I have 2 points in that.
Sure. Just 1 second. I will look it up for you in the core book. I believe it provides you some enhancement when you're dealing with a specific subject, but Uh,
So that would probably be vehicles for me.
sure.
But
Um,
maybe it does. Maybe I'm developing a cart.
how many dots do you have in it?
2.
Excellent. So, I would assume the first one's going to be pilot. And the way it works is that one dot, it covers a field equivalent to one specialty and offers one enhancement to research roles that are made using it. Each subsequent dot either increases the enhancement by one or expands the scope of the library. First to a full skill, then to a broad topic tackled by multiple skills. So I would assume we can say that this will apply to all pilot roles. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
And actually, what I would do rather than technology, I would have you roll pilot and intellect. You're of the Scandian Storm. You're familiar. Discussion of revenants is not anything that surprises you. You're aware that it is a problem back home. So yeah, let's go ahead and do a pilot intellect roll actually, and you can have 2 enhancement on that.
Cool. Uh, 1, 8, 1, 10. Let's see if that one explodes. That is a 9. So 3 plus 2 is 5.
It's 5. Excellent. Beautiful. That gives you plenty of information. So, what you know is that effectively at the time that the Southerners, as you would consider them, I suppose, claim that the Sky Chariot struck their Mount Olympus, right around that same time, some stars fell from the sky across Scandia and the neighboring islands. This has caused a few things to occur. One, in the nearby Isle of Herm. Yes?
I just want to mention while you're saying this that Anders is going to be relaying this to both of the heroes when they get back.
Sure.
Just through kind of telling this the story and filling them in on the background
Absolutely.
as they push off, and after we've heard their song.
Of course, yes. So the majority of the of this material, this nectar, this ambrosia, in the region that pooled in one place, pooled on the Isle of Herm, which is actually a barely inhabited island, a bit away from the sort of central landmass of Scandia. However, Wotan and Sif, the sort of leaders of the storm, as it were, do make routine pilgrimages there as sort of part of a rite of passage for people who are joining the Scandian storm. Having said that, while Herm is sparsely populated, there is a bit of a revenant problem there, but it's much worse where these sort of bits of the star breaking up scattered across Scandia. So several of the burial mounds effectively got up and started wandering. Some of the
and it like destroyed, 80% of the farming capabilities of
it messed
a bunch of
it messed some stuff up. The remaining ambrosia in the area sort of bubbles up from the ground into what the locals refer to as golden apples. And there's a city not too far from where the sort of central camp of the Scandian Storm rests, where they have devoted a lot of scholarship toward using this material to refine and build glorious devices that are capable of amazing things. You know that because all of this is sort of filtered through piloting, you're very much aware of where these hot spots are. You probably would assume that the place where you are least likely to be interfered with by anyone, run into any surprises, and where you're least likely to have to worry about collateral damage, I guess, for lack of a better term, is probably on the Isle of Herm, provided that you can get to it. You do know that most of the time it's not bad to reach, but there has recently been some increased activity from some of the other colleges who are interested in sort of keeping that ambrosia out of the hands of whomever might roll by. So far, they haven't locked horns with the Scandian Storm, as far as you know. They've kept a respectful distance when they've been on their way back and forth to Herm. But other travelers that are not flying that banner might run into some trouble from perhaps like the Society of the Lion, for example.
I make sure we're flying said banner.
Fair enough. Alternatively, you may go to the mainland and try to find them. It's just you might have to look a little harder, and you always have the possibility of, some random farmer getting caught in the midst of the scrap. The only hiccup, actually, you got 5 successes, so I'll give you this much too. The only hiccup is that most of the revenants on Herm have been dead long enough that they wouldn't probably have any blood left in them. Like they're mostly skeletal. So you might have to whittle through some of them before you find one that's it's juicy enough to saturate the bone.
There's also kind of the somewhat shitty thing of, the fresher the corpse, the more likely we are to get the fluids we need.
Right.
But also the more likely that it's going to be someone's friend.
Sure.
Or had been someone's friend, rather.
Sure.
Though I think most Scandians are, a Revenant is a
Right,
Revenant.
Revenant's Revenant, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, as far as your people are concerned, everything that made them is no longer in that meat sack that's walking around. They've gone on to the promised feast hall in the sky, and something unnatural is piloting their flesh around, and can only be destroyed by removing the head or destroying the brain. As several centuries from now, a newscaster will say in Philadelphia.
So, Anders, how big is your boat?
I'm imagining it's not like warship. It's like a fast scout ship.
Okay.
So probably 2 or 3 crewmen other than myself could operate the boat.
Kind of like effectively a small, a precursor to a small Viking longship.
Yep.
So when Therio wakes up, having not remembered getting on the boat because he was so drunk, and in a panic turns into a bear, it's not an emergency.
No, you'll probably have a little bit of room to romp around, I would assume.
All right, yeah. Okay, good. Because that was going to happen.
It doesn't,
regardless of what the size of the boat was.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't take you long to find the deck, and I would assume either.
Excellent. So, having said that, I will give you, and you may share these amongst you if you so wish. You can have 3 questions to sort of refine what you're able to discover from your research based on the degree of success of your role. Do you have anything further you would like to elaborate or investigate deeper into about that? Any questions you'd like answered?
I'm thinking on it. Does anyone else have any ideas? Well,
Do they have a weakness?
The Revenants?
Yeah.
Sure. Just 1 second. Let me bring up my specifics before I misspeak and put a hex on the entire thing. You know that they seem to be driven by a hunger that leads them to attack preferably people, but will sometimes attack large animals and livestock if there's no flesh about. So that hunger might be something that you can use to bait them. Another weakness, for lack of a better term, would be that if it's in the darkness or dusk and at night, you can very clearly see their eyes are glowing as a result of the ambrosia within them. So those would be the weakness. They're detectable through that fashion, and they're theoretically baitable through the flesh. So that'll give you 2 more questions. Any other more things you would like to learn? This can also extend to the region because it is through the lens of pilot, so you can learn various other things about the region, the peoples. It doesn't just have to be strictly focused on the revenants.
We know that they're just sort of roaming about, right? Like there's
Yeah.
no particular source for them or anything. They just
Yeah, they seem to be. I mean, they you know that they originate from the graveyards, burial mounds, things along those lines. But there's no concentration of them somewhere. There's not. A city of the dead. Nothing like that as far as the library or
Yeah, and it's not
Anders'
like
experiences.
all the corpses stood up at the same time, but occasionally a new one will crawl out of the
Right.
ground.
Yes, new ones will.
Yeah.
They keep getting up. To the point that it's begun to affect their funerary practices. Many of
A lot more burned to ash in our.
a lot more people are being placed on boats and they're lit on fire and sent off to sea, as if that may become a trend that will catch on one day.
Mm.
So that I'll say that's one more question. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can save it for a rainy day too. I'll allow it.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. Beautiful. After eating and drinking your fill, Thrasos and Therio stumble their way out of the feast hall to the tune of a call and response song and make their way to the wrong boat and then are very politely guided to the proper one.
who says it's the wrong boat?
Who the hell are you to tell me it's the wrong boat? You want to wrestle over it?
and
Maybe like a fleet someday.
at which point,
Anders, I found you a new boat.
after some discussion and potential,
At exactly that moment, Anders looks over from like the boat on the opposite dock.
Mhm.
Like you're over on dock 8 and I'm on dock 3, and I'm like, over here.
I like this boat better. You make your way in and begin to set sail as the sun sets. Go ahead and give me just a straight up piloting roll.
Sure.
Well, and as far as leaning on navigation, would probably be something along intellect if you're plotting a course. I would take.
Yeah, int and cunning are both the same
Okay.
anyway, so I'm thinking between those two, probably a little bit of a mixture, but it's the same die pool. So. One, 2, and 1 to reroll. 4, just 2.
Okay, excellent. As you're sailing along, your first couple of days are relatively uneventful. You're able to make some extra good time, partially due to your own acumen for seacraft, but also I would assume that the heroes at some point, be it out of purely being charitable, out of an excuse to have a contest of strength, or out of sheer boredom, drop ore and start helping move things along. However, as the sun begins to set on the third day,
You say it's a contest of strength, but that like just leads us to like going in like circles and stuff because we're both trying to outdo each other. No, you have to stay in time.
they wind up like tapping out a beat for you, and there's a beautiful Disney-esque music number as you make your way north. And as the sun sets on the third day,
Teach them all the old sailing songs so that they learn how to keep time.
exactly, and you see rising up from the horizon the sail of another vessel headed your direction. You immediately recognize that this is not flying any flags that you would ascribe to a country. In fact, the sails seem a bit ragged, as if they've been through a number of combats. As the boat approaches, you can see that some of the wood is very clearly and very visibly patched on, as if ripped from the hulls of other ships and attached to their own.
Northman, is this colony in your land?
You're not. You're aware, Anders, that you're not quite in your land yet. Though the others probably aren't. We're outside of the Mediterranean, right? We're north of the Mediterranean. That's where you're from. You're muted.
This is no man's land.
Well, if they're smart, they'll keep sailing on by.
I would like each of you to go ahead and give me just a culture roll, if you don't mind. And if you don't have culture, I would settle for pilot. This is going to be about recognizing and as well as remembering. So any attribute that would lean on either of those two things, I will accept.
On raw cunning, 2 successes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cunning. Ooh. 4.
Glorious.
4 on cunning and culture.
Excellent. You, Therio, you recall a boat similar to that from earlier in your travels as you were making your way through the hot gates on your way headed this direction. You saw a boat like that attempt to land and raid the nearby farming village. You were able to frighten them away, but not before they had set fire to many buildings, run off with several pieces of livestock, and generally caused quite the ruckus. You didn't catch who they were or where they were from, but the patchwork nature of their boat kind of gives it away to you. Whereas Thrasos and Anders, you absolutely connect this vision with legends of what are known as the Sea People, a sort of mysterious unknown culture that appears to be patchworked together as much as their ships are, surviving by violence, raiding, thievery, and piracy.
Therio is going to start climbing the mast.
Excellent. I believe you are muted, Thrasos. Or your mic's not on, I can't hear you.
No. Oh,
No.
no.
Yeah, you're good now.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Said as a bear, but
He is not currently a bear. He's climbing as a man.
well, it looks like trouble approaches. They might seek to add our ship to theirs.
It would seem to be their way.
I suppose it's not a good idea for him to be in his armor right now. That's okay. I have edges. I'll pick up his shield and his spear and go to the prow.
Excellent. Yeah, you absolutely do have time before they arrive to don your armor if you so choose.
I just mean if he falls off this thing, then that's probably that.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to be easy to swim in, for sure.
So we'll stick without it for now.
I was just imagining having you put on floaties on the
If only floaties were 19th century or earlier technology.
No plastic yet.
Bring my seahorse.
Once it becomes clear who is approaching, Axel begins telling a tale of the horrible exploits and vicious nature of these sea raiders. But then switches to point out that the heroes who struck down the great dragon have little to fear from such rabble at sea. Those who left the city with the songs of impressed Tartessian men and lustful Tartessian women have nothing to fear from such rabble. And he spends a point of inspiration and grants you all +1 enhancement to your attacks and defense for the duration of the
All right.
combat. And that is through the use of a gift called Exhortation to Victory.
Thrasus will start banging his spear against his shield and see, people, you face Thrasos, son of Ares. The water will run red with your blood today.
Glorious. Why don't you go ahead and give me a, I would say persuasion or command. And you can add presence, though I could see an argument for might.
Let's add might then.
As you're trying to intimidate them and you're leaning on your physical ability to do so.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I imagine him giving this speech from like the Titanic pose on the front of the bow.
I got a success.
One success. Excellent.
One success.
Doesn't seem to have dissuaded them. Is there any action that Therio would like to take prior?
Well, as he's climbing the mast, he's kind of getting up into like a point where he can like, he's like sort of just laying in wait for them to come close enough for him to jump onto their ship.
Excellent. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to let you take the equivalent of an aim action, basically.
All right.
Because you are planning to place a projectile on the boat. It just happens to be you.
All right.
I don't suppose you happen to have.
I have no aim.
I was going to say lightning calculator by chance.
Oh no. Absolutely not. That's a mental edge. I don't have any of those.
Very, very smart, Bear. Okay, I'm just looking to see what your benefit for aiming if you don't have like any sort of edge to
The only time I've ever seen rules for aiming is in the sniper edge.
Right.
And that just doubles whatever enhancement you'd have.
Sure.
But that's if you have that edge. I don't think there are actual like aiming rules.
What I would let you do, because you have this time, is I would let you make an athletics roll. That's
Okay,
going to
sure.
be based on. I would like you to keep it to one of the mental attributes.
Okay.
But I'll let you essentially give yourself an enhancement, like an aid action, kind of, as you're planning out a route.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So cunning plus athletics, I get 3 successes.
Glorious. So you'll get an additional. So you'll be looking at a +4 enhancement on your first action to get over there. And is there any preparatory action that Anders is making?
No, other than being a experienced ship captain, he probably had at a previous time explained how ships tend to fight. Because realistically in this time and age you kind of need to pull alongside each other and just
Right.
kind of duke it out. And so Anders describes his strategy to be one where you basically kind of play chicken until the absolute last moment, forcing them to make the choice, but then taking advantage of the fact that they're steering.
Right. That they're on their heels.
Yeah. And if they do come straight at us, like, I will be slightly off, is basically what Anders says. Just beware of sticking your hand over the edge of the boat.
Excellent. I think that would be sufficient if the group is willing to spend that point of momentum for you to activate your Overwatch. And you can decide at whatever point you want to drop that difficulty reduction at your leisure, Anders. Okay. Having said that, let's do another one of those initiative rolls. So it is the lowest.
Oh,
0 again.
the doggo is getting grumbly.
Oh, you got to run your dog out real quick.
I might have to let her out. I think the roommate's already in bed because she's got to work in the morning.
No worries.
I also got a 0 on initiative though, so I'm gonna quickly just let her outside.
Excellent. And again, that is lore of athletics plus cunning or empathy dexterity. What did you get, Ethereal?
4 successes.
Glorious. And what did Thrasos, son of Ares, get?
Also 0.
Awesome.
No way.
And let's see what our good friends amongst the sea people have earned for their.
Their vessels made of wood, right?
It is.
Okay.
As is yours.
Yep.
As they are pulling up into view, you notice smoke start to emanate from about a dozen points on their deck.
Ruh-roh.
From your vantage point, Therio, because you made that roll to look, you can clearly see that they have lit their lit arrowheads on fire.
Darn.
And you will go first.
So Therio will basically run along the sail, the thing that's holding the sail, leap off and try and get himself on the boat. As he is doing so, he not only turns into a bear,
Excellent.
in midair. I'm also going to spend a point of inspiration and activate my gift. let's see here. The name of this. Attaining a giant stature. So there is a scale 3 dire bear in mid-air transformation, essentially cannonballing onto their ship. And it does say with this gift that however your character's greatly increased weight means that he could easily collapse the upper floor of a building if it weren't sturdily built. If the character, yeah,
Excellent. And this also does increase your durability and might scales by 1.
it absolutely does. So yeah, I am cannonballing with having exponentially by 3 tripled my size and weight.
Glorious.
Really nice.
But just for clarification's sake, this does not increase your power scale. So
Does
it
not
doesn't
increase my
affect your
power scale.
ability to do damage, but it does affect your ability to like lift things and things along those lines.
I mean, lift things and do structural.
Right, structural stuff, just not like I punch you in the face and your head explodes.
Oh, no, I intend to destroy their ship and drown them all. I mean, that seems to be.
I've heard worse plans. So let's have you go ahead and make your. So you're gonna leap and try to effectively damage the ship, right?
Yeah, I want to damage the ship.
So we're gonna treat this as a mixed action.
Okay.
One is going to involve your athletics roll. One is going to involve your close combat roll.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. You have banked a total of 4 enhancement based on what your action plus the gift that you're benefiting from Axel. Excellent. So, what attributes would you like to lean on for those 2?
Since it's a mixed action, the lower of that is going to be my athletics. Assuming might for both.
Okay. Excellent.
So we'll do that.
So let's hit that.
Let's make that beautiful roll. Yeah. So you said I had a total of 5 extra enhancement.
4 extra enhancement.
4 extra enhancements. With the enhancement from that, so that's going to be I rolled 5 successes, so I've got 4 enhancement, 3 enhancement from my roll, 1 enhancement from Axel, and then just 1 enhancement for the unarmed attack. So that's going to be 10 successes.
Excellent. How would you like to? Oh, go ahead.
Plus 2. Well, yeah. What's the difference in scale?
So the ship is actually size 3, so you're operating on the same.
Okay.
All
right,
effectively equal scale.
Okay,
Yep.
so no difference from scale. 10 successes.
Glorious. So how would you like to divide those up? It will be, I would say, clearing the distance. Effectively, you're looking at probably 2 range bands. So I would say it's going to be a difficulty to accurately land on the vessel.
Yeah, I don't particularly care where I get on the vessel.
Right, as long as you're somewhere on it.
As long as I get. So yeah, let's go 2 successes, 2 out of the 10 to get there, and then 8 to damage the ship.
Excellent. So you have, because you have no scale difference, you're limited to to 1 critical, and that'll eat your attack. Is your attack inherently brutal?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that'll eat a total of 4 successes, right?
Okay.
If my math's not off, right?
Yeah.
So you're down 6. So you'll still have 4 successes worth of stunt you can drop. So, what are you thinking in terms of stunts that you might want to apply?
So I'll damage it once and then crit once, which is all I can do. Let's see here. I think, none of the stunts that I have here apply to fucking up ships. Let's just throw it up into the defense stunt.
Excellent. So you're basically landing in such a fashion that you're ready for whatever's coming at you.
Yeah.
So that'll increase your defense to 5 for the turn. Correct? Right.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. That brings us to our sea people friend. So what they're going to do, because we are basically dealing with a large group, I'm going to break them up into 2 combat units. Each combat unit has 6 people in it. So each of them I will have 1 party member roll, and then they will just benefit from a +5 enhancement to their actions for that. Sound fair?
Sounds good.
All right, rock and roll. One of the battle groups is going to focus their attention on the bear that just landed on the deck of their. And by the way, you're basically now like you went through the deck and like landed, like your upper legs are still on the deck and your lower legs are like dangling below deck, but you clearly have enough of a purchase that you can move if you need to drop to get out of the way of something. That's where that benefit from defense comes from.
I just love the fact that I'm a bear about the same size as the ship itself.
Right, you're not. Yeah, you've taken out a good portion of the upper deck, but not quite
Yeah.
enough to have caused them any real hell at this point. So the first unit is going to fire at the bear. The second unit is going to fire at Anders' ship.
Roll my defense.
So your defense right now is just a flat 5 because you took the defense stun out of your action, right? Because you spent 4.
No, I think that just it ups my defense, but I still roll.
Oh, right. You get your basic,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah, I just spent that to up my defense for basically one attack.
Right.
But I still roll my
So it's going off of stamina.
yeah.
Excellent. Give it a shot.
So yeah, my defense is going to be 7.
Glorious. All right, and they are rocking a significant enhancement on this roll, so hopefully they don't. I would say that this counts as an act of piracy because fighting is being a pirate. All right, so they are looking at a total of 7. So your defense was 7?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they're able to. Do you have any hard armor?
No.
All right. And you don't have any additional soft armor?
No.
Excellent. So they're able to deal 1 injury condition to you as they like pepper you with flaming arrows. Now you're able to avoid most of those, but a couple do find purchase enough to deal a single health level to you, or a single injury condition. Forgive me, to you. However, you notice because those arrows are on fire, they do have the incendiary tag. So while you yourself don't just like burst into flames, you are wearing a thing that is on fire. So you may inadvertently set like a sail on fire next to you. For example, if you were to botch a roll or not overcome a complication at some point.
Oh, further damaging their boat. Oh no.
Exactly. And the other batch that is coming at your boat, Anders, I would allow you, since you said you were going to try to maneuver, what I'll let you do is effectively use your pilot skill as your stamina for the boat. Make sense for defense?
Yeah. So would that be just the pilot skill then?
You were spending your whole action. You had mentioned you're spending your whole action doing this, so I'm going to let you double it. Because you basically are taking the full defense this turn.
Sounds good.
How'd you do?
I am rolling.
Excellent.
110, 18, and the 10 became a 2. 2 successes.
Glorious. You are able to not only go hard to port and get out of the way. I heard that on Star Trek earlier, so that's about my knowledge of seafaring stuff. You are able to go hard to port and get out of the way of the flaming arrows, but you also notice that apparently having a giant bear fly at you is a bit distracting. And not only did these folks not hit your boat at all, they managed to put a couple of those flaming arrows into their own sails because they botched their roll. So their ship is in not great shape. Thrasos, what would you like to do?
How close are they?
They're 2 range bands away from you right now.
Is there anything I can throw?
Your spear.
Yeah, but I might want that back.
I mean, you could throw it and then go get it.
That's true.
Or you could have your buddy bring it back to you. I mean, the boat is on the other, or the bear is on the other boat.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend an. Okay, so let me know if this is the right way to do it. I'm also going to try to sink their boat. Using Mighty Cleave because it affects. You can use it to cut through wooden or stone walls or pillars as easily as through sturdy bronze.
Sure.
Then I want to spend a point of inspiration for the gift to put the world on your shoulders, which gives me +2 power scale for a single action.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh man.
And so
gotta
that's what I
love that.
wanted to chuck something at. I was trying to figure out what would make a big enough hole, but I guess this
I mean,
plus Mighty Cleave will make a big hole.
Yeah. So
There's probably a barrel of something, but it's probably not on the deck. Unless you had like planned ahead and brought a barrel with you.
Well,
I think we were carrying a barrel when we got on the boat, right? That's what the other one objected about. We took their barrel.
that is, I believe, was
Yeah.
established.
Yeah. Okay.
Also,
So-
alternatively, I would remind you that you are a inspired being who can spend inspiration for dramatic editing. So if you drop 1 inspiration, you can have anything that would make sense to have on a boat. If you drop 2 inspiration, I'll get very, very broad in my description of what makes sense. And if you drop 3 inspiration, then you drunkenly, nonsensically brought pretty much whatever you want on this boat, provided it would fit.
That barrel of rocks from the quarry we stopped at on the way.
I
mean, a
rule
barrel
that
of
probably
tar would make some sense on a boat.
That's true. Yeah.
I would
Be quite heavy and also flammable.
I would allow you to have a barrel of tar that you had drunkenly brought on the boat at the low cost of. Let's go 2 inspiration. That's because that is effectively throwing an accelerant on the ship that is now on fire.
Through the ship.
Through the ship that is now on
Through
fire.
the ship.
Accurate.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, to be fair, that will just even you up on power scale, affecting the boat's durability.
Durability,
Because
yeah,
it's size
okay. Like essentially it'll let me. Well, so here's what I was wondering because of that and Mighty Cleave. So
right, with that combined, you will make it'll essentially be the scales will cancel one another out, so you'll be at no penalty to deal it damage.
got it. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I'll spend all that inspiration.
So it's a total of 3 because it's 1 to activate the gift and 2 to have that barrel be full of tar. Rocket.
I'm gonna have to get inspired. Soonish.
If there's
Mighty
any
Cleave is close
difficulties,
combat.
we could
I
lower
didn't
them
realize
with
that.
mine.
So
Mighty Cleave. Mighty Cleave is. Oh yes, it is a close combat
so I
only.
need to actually jump over there to do it. Bother. Okay. Let's jump over there. Can I like?
So it would be a mixed action to jump over there and do it.
Yeah.
So it would be a mixed action using close combat and athletics. So it'd use the lower of the 2, and assuming that both would pair with might.
Okay.
So you would just roll the lower pool, and then you would need to divide successes. You'd have to spend at least 2 successes to get to the boat. If you fail to meet that many successes, you will not make it, and then you will fall in the water, and it will be a sad day for all parties concerned.
Well, that's why I'm not wearing my armor.
Glorious.
Okay. Well, let's.
Could
It's still 8, so that's not a bad die pool.
Could what? Anders, could you use your Overwatch to lower that difficulty? You sure can.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's any difficulty, this could be a place where we use the.
Yeah, if you want to
Overwatch
drop the
use.
Overwatch, that'll effectively drop the difficulty of the
We
jump.
owed the Baron Overwatch use though. At this point, I'm just saying.
That's true.
But
I'm good
we'll
with it.
give this one to the hero that didn't climb the
And say,
mast
if
first.
this combat lasts long enough, you can certainly spend another momentum to do
Yeah.
it again. I got a funny
We've
feeling
got a
that's going to be
bunch
the
of
last
momentum
roll of this
building
fight.
up, so let's use them.
Do I get an enhancement out of Axel's thing on this?
Yeah, +1 to literally any attack you make for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
And he can do that to 5 times his intuitive facet worth of soldiers, by the way.
Okay.
it's a handy thing to have if you're playing
It's very
a
bard-like.
bard type, yeah.
It's very
Another
bard-like.
0.
0 successes? For real? That's the best thing I've heard all day. All right, so you gain a momentum. That's the good news.
Unless you want to spend momentum to reroll some of those.
You
dice.
can spend momentum to reroll
Oh
some
my
of those
god,
dice.
do
You
I
have
ever want to spend that?
4 in the pool right now, and you can burn them all as long as the party's okay with it.
I think you can only spend half.
Is there a limitation on it?
I believe so.
Let me just do 2,
Okay.
if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely. I'm going to look that up because I don't recall that being the case, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not.
I wouldn't want to use all 4 anyway, so I just need a success here.
Sure. Go ahead and roll 2 dice.
Aha, 2. Great. Okay. So those. So this is now an attack with my spear, I guess.
So you got a total of 2 successes.
Yeah.
Effectively, that'll land you on the other side without dropping in the water.
And then he can use his enhancement to.
Right, and you can, because once you have the 2, you'll get all the enhancement you can claim. So that was a total of what we had cooking 3.
3. Okay. And then my spear gives me 1 more.
I guess that's 4.
Yeah, so 4 points, I guess.
Excellent. So that will certainly overcome the the defense of the boat, and will allow you to effectively deal 1 injury condition to the boat.
Okay.
So the boat is keeling. It's not in very good shape.
And so as part of that retcon, I didn't spend those 2 inspiration because I didn't take the barrel. I just, since I had to do it in close combat.
Okay, excellent.
So I can keep myself on the same scale as the boat going forward.
Glorious. So you're over there. You've knocked another hole in the side of it. The boat is taking on water.
You're sea people. Isn't this what you want?
And that brings us back around to the top of the order. What would Theria like to do?
Thuria would like to continue to mess up this boat. I'm going to spend 2 inspiration for extraordinary effort to get my might scale up to 4. So I can mess this boat up. So yeah, that'll be a close combat. Awesome. Yeah, keep re-rolling. Oh my god, that's 310 so far. All right, finally rolled a 2. So 4 successes on the die. Plus 2 enhancement for being 1 scale above it.
Excellent.
And then 2 from my unarmed attack, and then 1 from so it's a total of 9 successes.
Excellent. Wait, 1 scale above it? From
Yeah, I spent inspiration for extraordinary effort
oh right. Okay,
to get up
Gotcha.
to my. I was at might scale 2, so I spent 2 more to get to might scale 4.
excellent.
So yeah, 9 successes. So yeah. So how much do I have left over from the boats?
So you'd have 4 left. The boat will effectively sink at this
Okay.
point. So you have 4. You have 4 successes. No, you have 5 successes remaining because you
Okay.
got brutal. So
Yeah. So I will damage it once, damage it again, and then credit.
excellent. Right, and then right that will be
Yeah.
so damage and crit will
Do the job.
be enough to sink it. So you'll have 5 successes left over, which I am gracious enough to allow you to use to get the hell back to the other boat with your buddy.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to. So almost like, so the way I'm imagining this is like you, like bring your fists down onto the deck, and using the force that blow generates, like snatch Thrasos on the way back. As you land on the
You seesaw launch Thrasos
Right.
back over to my boat,
Yeah. And as we're in
and
the
then
air,
pole vault yourself
yeah.
using the stick.
as we're in the air, I'm going to turn back into a man-sized man so that we do not repeat the process on our own boat.
excellent. You all land back on the boat. None the worse for the wear as the Sea People's boat begins to sink, and they become marooned in the water. They are trying to swim toward your boat for all the good that's going to do them. At the rate that Anders can move that boat, there's no way that they're going to catch you. If you, in fact, wish to leave.
It's the sea. You like this? Oh, wait, was that your joke, Thrasos? Am I stealing your joke?
It's fine.
No, it's
you
okay.
landed it better.
Joke plagiarism is a sin. So we'll.
With Mr. Fix-It and technology, do I think I could fix their boat enough to not completely sink?
No, I mean, like it's
It's gone
it's like cracked in half down the middle at this point.
down the middle. All right.
Yeah, it is beyond all repair.
That's why you bring a raft.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they the bright side is there will be much flotsam or jetsam. I don't remember which one it is, but there's going to be a lot of it, so they'll be able to grab onto some wood and paddle.
Remember, only one person per door.
Right, exactly.
A door
Yeah,
can
you
only
can't.
fit one person.
Not enough room, Jack. And now we had established previously that you sailed a good distance away from the nearest shore, so they might need a couple days to get home. But theoretically,
if it's not the consequences of your actions.
so theoretically, you will be able to get. They will be able to get back to where they are going. If
Only
they're
the Oracle's weather power worked the opposite direction, and I could just be like, and it's gonna be a hellish thunderstorm the whole time. Fucking karma.
It's funny you should mention that, though.
No.
As you begin moving away, you can definitely see, because you are getting to the end of the days of weather you predicted, of clear weather you predicted. You can definitely see some storm clouds gathering to the north. As the cries and angry curses of the sea people fade in the background, and you sail northward. And I believe that's where we'll wrap things up for this session. Good show, everyone. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about the way that this session went?
I love Olympians.
They
I
are
love them so much.
they are fun. I'm fond of them. And
Not quite Novas, but they're getting there.
they're definitely a good time. So I will hand out some experience points. And of course, because we were a little discombobulated at the beginning of the show, I entirely forgot to allow you to do tweaks. So don't let me forget next session to do that. But in the meantime, I will hand out some XP. So, did Anders, did you achieve any of your the words that I can use with my face? Did you achieve any of your short-term aspirations for your character? You're muted.
Sorry about that. The two
No
shorts that I
worries.
wrote down were learn new information about Ambrosia and meet a new culture. I feel like I don't know, we kind of met a new culture, but I didn't really meet them. They kind of floated away.
In the words of Leonidas in the film 300, we've been sharing our culture with you all morning. So, I mean, you met them in battle. I am permissive as hell, so you can have it if you want it. If you want to hang on to it, it's up to you. What was the other one? Learn something new about Ambrosia.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like we mostly relied on me storytelling my previous knowledge of Ambrosia as opposed
for
to,
the most part, though. I mean, you
but
did.
we do have a new theory about how to cure this weird sleep, which
True.
or I could have learned some medicinal use that
I
I'd
mean,
never known
you
of.
you may have learned that. I would say that you've learned that. Well, you probably knew it could be used as a curative. Well, all of that lore dump that you learned was as a result of consulting your library.
Yeah.
So I'll allow it. Yeah, sure. Why not? You can have two. I'm nothing if not a permissive and just deity. How about short terms for Therio?
I think I crushed something to death.
I believe you did.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You can't kill a boat. So I would say probably
Nah.
not. But
No, I crushed that dragon.
You did crush a dragon to death. We all seen it. You pull somebody's jawbone off once. I seen it. Yeah. I would say that is awarded. And your other short term?
My other short term was be used as a mount. I don't think anyone rid this bear.
No one has ridden the
So-
bear yet. So better luck next time in that regard. Thrasos, any short terms?
Prove yourself in battle? Or prove myself in battle? I don't know.
I mean, I don't think you've been imperiled.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would argue that proving yourself would require you to be threatened in some fashion, which you have not been.
I'll accept that.
That seem fair?
Yeah.
All right. And what was your other short term?
I don't know about you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something you should resolve.
I will.
Any long term aspirations achieved yet? No? Beautiful. You did spend half the available momentum in a single scene, so you may take an extra point there. As far as a story milestone, I would say yes. I had planned for you to meet Axel and accept the quest, which you did. So you can have an extra point for that. Unfortunately, we did not get the everybody achieved a short-term aspiration. So here, does anybody know anybody who did achieve aspirations or anybody who might be short on the number that they have? Do you have any short-term aspirations in mind that you would like to swap out or add in or things along those lines? New ones.
Started thinking about it, but
I can give you a real easy one, which would be get Wotan out of his coma.
yeah. Well, I mean, also figure out how the hell we're supposed to extract Iker from a zombie.
I feel like you're overcomplicating this in your head.
Yeah.
Stab it and let it bleed.
And bleed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one.
But then don't get bit by it.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I've got,
that's gonna be the tricky part.
I've got throw a revenant at a revenant.
Excellent. I love it. I'm a fan. I'm here for it. I will do everything in my power to allow you to achieve that aspiration. And you'd only achieved the one, correct? So that's just
I'll
your
just
Yeah,
slot.
go
I
with
only got- yeah.
successfully collect Ichor.
Successfully collect Ichor is perfectly fine. So if you want to do, you had 2 to replace, right?
Not just the one.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd made 2. Okay, so successfully collect Ichor. Beautiful. Brassos for your second short-term aspiration.
Oh, yeah. Can it be Cure Wotan?
Absolutely. Yep. Rock and roll. So you all have your aspirations, and remember, at the beginning of next session, we will do tweaks, which will allow you to swap out an aspiration if you want to, move some skill dots, or attribute dots around. My apologies to both you and the audience for not doing that earlier. We had a bit of we got started off at a bit of a discombobulation. Also, I do want to clarify that by the rules, you absolutely can only spend half the momentum in a single roll at a single time. I personally don't care if you spend more than that because I'm a fan of watching that pool bounce around. But yeah, by the rules, it's half. One last time, I would like to remind you all that the reason that we have gathered here tonight is to promote Trinity Continuum Aegis. We got 4 days left on the backer kit. When we are back here next time, the campaign will be over, so I won't get a chance to tell you again. Please, pretty please with sugar on top. If you haven't yet done so, run over there and grab it. If you've already grabbed it, consider upping your contribution and sharing it on all of your social medias. That would be your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your TikToks. You can TikTok about it. You can tag the Onyx Path on TikTok if you do. You can share it on Blue Sky. You can put a thread about it. You can even use Twitter because there's no force on earth that's going to make me call it what Elon wants me to call it. So you may do any of those things, and we would be much obliged if you did. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us, whether or not you're doing it live or watching us in the replay, in the VOD. And I would like to thank also all of the wonderful faces you see on the screen with me. Let's do our outros. We're going to go in, I think, the opposite order that we went in before, so forgive me if this is wrong. Corey, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you've been playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Hey, I'm Corey, aka Narf, on the interwebs. Most places I am they them. I've been playing Anders, the boat captain and guide. He, they, and as far as things to promote, check out the game I work on called Caves of Cud, which
Excellent.
this will link to. We
Nice.
just released a new trailer, which I think is really cool.
And that trailer is on the site, right? Like they can watch it from the Caves of Cud site?
I think so. You can also, it's like the trailer on Steam as well, if you look it up on Steam.
Dope. Or
Spelt the same way.
I bet you if you Google Caves of Cud trailer, it'll probably show up real close to the top too. So definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun if you're into the roguelikes. It is a hoot and a riot, and it helps Corey make house payments. So you should go pick it up. That then brings us next up to Simon. Please tell us all your pertinence.
Hi, my name's Simon. I played Thrasos, son of Ares, both he, him. I'm just going to pump Extra Life right now. I put a link in the chat, but do check it out. It is this coming weekend, Extra Life Tabletop Game Day, Friday the 18th of August to Sunday the 20th. I will be participating as part of Team Dork Tales and playing in Onyx Pass. They came from Camp Murder Lake on the Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, then running Modifius's Cohorts Cthulhu at 1:30 a.m. on the Saturday, and Renegade Studios Kids on Bikes the following Sunday at 1:30 a.m. But I'm just playing that one, so that's okay. So come donate during the actual broadcast to affect play, give the players advantages, disadvantages, be kind or cruel. It all goes to help children's hospitals.
Glorious. And what better reason to tune into a Twitch stream? I can think of no cause more noble And since you mentioned the They Came From game, I did have a little chat with the the director of that game, and I feel that they might be using some characters that appear in the Storypath Nexus release, Fresh Meat, which is a collection of ready-made characters that I put up on the Storypath Nexus this week. So highly recommend you go check that out. Maybe you can pick a favorite before Friday and root for who you would like to see die first. And you should get after them, Simon, to check out the additional rules that are included in that booklet for how to keep players whose characters have died early on in a Camp Murder Lake game active in the game after their demise. So there's some extra optional rules in there that let them do that. Now that I've hijacked your promotion for my own promotion, I will remind folks that they should go do that and give to Extra Life while they're at it. And that brings us around, last but most certainly not least, to Scott. Please give us all your pertinent details.
Sure. My name is Scott Cuban. I have been playing Therio, an actual bear who walks like a man. Both of our pronouns are he, him. You can find me on X / Twitter at Simulacra RPGs, or probably more relevantly, Simulacra TV on both Twitch and YouTube. That's my actual play studio. If you go to YouTube, you can see the whole 6-part Trinity Continuum Adventures, the Undesirables series, which is just chock full of Nazis that get punched.
Excellent.
And also check out Opcast, Arms Around the Trinity Continuum, which is the Trinity Continuum podcast that I do with my good friend Josh E.
And that is available on all
Podcatchers.
all podcast platforms.
Yep, just search for Opcast. OPCAST.
Excellent. And I guess that leaves me. My name is Travis. My pronouns are he and they. When I am not running games, I'm writing them. I had the great honor and pleasure of working on Aegis. I want to thank Corey for playing a character from what has become my favorite college. I tried real hard not to make it my favorite college, but it just wound up being I really like Scandian Storm. Hence, we're using them as sort of the centerpiece for this particular story. But again, I want to remind you that Aegis is a game set in antiquity. It is centered around Mount Olympus, one might say, but spans so much more than that. There are entire swaths of the world are covered. You can set your action wherever you like, and if we hit that $40,000 stretch goal over at the backer kit, it will be expanded even more with the Aegis Atlas. So please head over, check that out. Please once again do pick up the fresh meat for They Came From Camp Murray Lake, and make sure that you're washing your hands, getting your shots, all that fun stuff. And in the words of the late Jerry Springer, be good to yourselves and each other. We'll see you same time next week. Bye.